Welcome to IELTS Listening by Global Village Toronto and ReadyForIELTS.com. My name is Chris, and in this video I'm going to explain how the IELTS listening test works and give you some important advice about how to do well. The IELTS listening test has 40 questions and takes about 1 hour. You have to focus 100% because if you lose attention for 1 second, you can miss the answer and it's not repeated. There are several different tasks, and in this video I'll show you a few, but we cover all of these in our online and classroom courses. You'll hear conversations with 2 speakers and monologues with 1 speaker. The IELTS listening test will look like this. You'll get 2 papers. The first one is your question book, and the second one your answer sheet. While you're listening to the audio, take notes in the question book. At the end of the test, you'll have about 10 minutes to transfer your answers from the question book to the answer sheet. So it's best that you only use the question book while you're listening. At the end, transfer your answers quickly but carefully to the answer sheet and make sure you match the question numbers correctly. So the IELTS listening test just tests your listening ability, right? Wrong. Of course it tests your listening, but the IELTS listening test, the questions are on the paper, so you have to read the questions carefully. Grammar can even help you or hurt you. Vocabulary is important because if you don't know the word, you won't be able to recognize the answer. And yep, spelling counts. Actually, it must be perfect. So don't forget to spell correctly and use capital letters for names of people, streets, days, months, and even buildings, for example. Here's an example of an IELTS listening task from a good self-study book called IELTS Test Builder. This book is effective if you're studying on your own because it gives you tips at the same time as training your skills. There's 2 things that I want to show you on this page. First, notice the groups. In section 3, you're going to hear 1 conversation, but it will be divided into 2 different clips. The clips will be about 1 minute, and in the first clip, you're going to answer questions 21, 22, and 23 while you're listening to that clip. Then there'll be a short pause, and then you'll hear another clip of about 1 minute while you answer questions 24 and 25. The second thing I want to show you is a kind of trick in IELTS. Have a look at question 21. 21's asking about Rosanna's opinion about the Wednesday program. On the audio, Rosanna says something like, "The Wednesday program is very worthwhile." What's the meaning of worthwhile? It's positive. The only answer here that's positive is valuable. The trick is that worthwhile sounds like worthless. They're actually opposites. So A is not the correct answer. The correct answer is C, valuable, which is a synonym for worthwhile. In question 22, asking why she wants to change her course, let's look at answer A while we listen to the audio. On the audio, Rosanna says, because of so much homework, she arrives at her job late on Thursdays and Fridays. Well, notice this question says arrives and late. So if I listen to these words, it looks like A is the correct answer. Well, she mentioned being late on Thursdays and Fridays, but none of the questions mention Thursdays and Fridays. That brings us to our IELTS listening tip number 5. In multiple choice questions, you're listening for the meaning, not the exact words that you hear. So what's the meaning in B of the next 2 days? Well, remember that we're talking about the Wednesday program. So the next 2 days actually means Thursdays and Fridays. If we listen to the exact words, we hear, I arrive at my work late on Thursdays and Fridays. I'm thinking that A is the correct answer. But if I think about the meaning, it affects my work on Thursdays and Fridays. So listen for the meaning, don't listen for the exact words. And let's look at a couple other question types. On this page, there'll be 2 more clips. In the first part, questions 11 to 13, these are a complete the notes, fill in the blanks questions. And the next part, we have a fill in the map. You'll have to label a map or a diagram. This is a very common task in the IELTS. In comparison, for these types of questions, fill in the blanks, our GV IELTS listening tip is listen for the exact words. For these questions, IELTS expects you to write exactly what you hear. Don't change the words that you hear on the audio. Thanks for watching. Our next video will explain the IELTS reading test. And for more tips and training, study with one of our experienced and qualified Global Village Toronto instructors. You can register now at readyforielts.com.